Alright.
Hey. Oh, that's nice, isn't it?
I'm not even thinking it anymore. I don't even...
The movie opens in 1960s London, where a narrator introduces the notorious Cray twins, Reggie and Ronnie, known as gangster princes of the East End. Despite their involvement in crime, they possess a charisma, particularly Reggie, who is calm and strategic. In contrast, Ronnie is unpredictable and often erupts in violence due to his paranoid schizophrenia. Reggie is first seen exiting an East End apartment, offering tea to two policemen surveilling him, including Nipper Reed. Frustrated by his taunts, the officers continue observing. Reggie then goes to locate his driver, Frank, who missed work. Albert, another associate, follows Reggie. At Frank's home, Reggie meets Frank's sister, Frances, the story's narrator. A connection is obvious between Reggie and Frances, but her mother quickly interrupts, telling him to leave just as Frank arrives. Reggie and Frank drive away briefly, then Reggie and Albie covertly navigate through an alley to evade the police trail. The scene then depicts Ronnie, Reggie's slightly younger twin, recounting a story about coercing someone into handing over their pudding, illustrating his instability. The narrator reveals Ronnie was imprisoned for grievous bodily harm and later sent to a psychiatric facility after being deemed insane. Intent on freeing Ronnie, Reggie devises a scheme. An enforcer named Pat, aka Big Pat, subtly threatens a psychiatrist in his office, leading the psychiatrist to recommend Ronnie's release during a parole hearing. Following this, he admonishes Reggie about Ron's potential threat, giving him medication to administer to Ronnie every day, warning that neglecting this could cause severe issues. Reggie then takes Frances out, even though her mother openly disapproves. He drives her to one of his clubs in the East End, describing how he draws in celebrities by blending them with local rowdy types to provide a thrilling, risky ambience. During the outing, Reggie is called away to handle Jack, a manager guilty of siphoning off profits from their drug dealings. Surprisingly, Reggie shows mercy, instructing Jack to repay what he stole and desist from stealing, though he punches him before going back to Frances. When questioned about enjoying his gangster lifestyle, Reggie disagrees, insisting he's merely a club owner who likes the wealth and prestige it affords him, and they share a kiss. Reggie then introduces Frances to Ronnie, who nonchalantly informs her of his homosexuality just as a man is seen exiting his place. The focus then shifts to the beginning of a territorial conflict involving the Cray brothers and Charlie Richardson, a South London gang leader. After some minor skirmishes, the Krays are asked to come to a neutral location to negotiate peace. However, it's a trap, with Reggie and Ronnie hugely outmatched and facing an orchestrated assault. Ronnie cleverly deceives their opponents by pretending to have guns, expressing regret it isn't a shootout, and manages to slip away. In the meantime, Reggie engages in a fight, holding his ground until Ronnie returns brandishing hammers, and the two fiercely retaliate against their ambushers. The narrative transitions to focus on Leslie Payne, the Cray's attorney, who assists them in establishing lawful business endeavors to cloak their unlawful activities. Frances explains that Reggie saw Payne as an essential and beneficial associate, whereas Ronnie consistently expressed his distrust and aversion towards him. With Payne's aid, the Krays secure an ownership interest in a casino, which Reggie envisions as a launch pad toward becoming a respectable entrepreneur. Conversely, Ronnie dismisses this notion, favoring the tumultuous lifestyle of a gangster. Payne also relays that the American Mafia has expressed an interest in forming alliances with prominent figures in London's criminal circles. Though Ronnie shows no interest, Reggie consents to a meeting that proceeds smoothly, forming a lucrative alliance. A sequence of events narrated by Frances reveals that the casino prospers, yielding ample profits and aiding Reggie's quest to be regarded as a credible businessman. The casino maintains a distinctive model, merging celebrities with mobsters to attract notoriety and success. Nonetheless, the Cray brothers persist in illicit activities like money laundering and extortion alongside their legitimate businesses. Reggie eventually needs to return to jail to complete a deferred sentence. During his incarceration, guards severely assault him, yet he cleverly retaliates against one. Ronnie tells Frances that Reggie prefers no visitors, but she visits him regardless, which annoys Reggie, who doesn't want her to see him in such a vulnerable state. While Reggie is imprisoned, Ronnie undermines the club's operations, purposefully harming its success as he leans towards gangster life over managing a legitimate business. Upon Reggie's release, he proposes to Frances, and they visit the club together. Witnessing the mess Ronnie has made, Reggie angrily confronts him in front of their peers. In retaliation, Ronnie makes a harsh comment about Francis, sparking a heated altercation between the siblings. The conflict concludes with an emotional reconciliation as Ronnie apologizes, exposing his vulnerability. Reggie later shows Francis a West End club he intends to purchase, aiming to establish himself as a reputable businessman. Concurrently, Ronnie's open lifestyle has linked him with a few members of parliament. This connection complicates matters for the police, as pursuing the Krays could reveal these political ties. Francis' narration points out that these ties have frequently helped the brothers avoid legal issues over time. Reggie and Francis get married, but Francis' narration reveals that issues surfaced almost immediately. Despite Reggie's attempts to pursue lawful businesses, he remains heavily entangled in illegitimate dealings such as drug trafficking, protection rackets, and money laundering. These ventures generate significant income but keep him away from Francis for extended periods. Additionally, Ronnie and the Kray's mother, Mrs. Cray, openly show their dislike for Francis. Feeling isolated and ignored, Francis grows increasingly unhappy and turns to drugs to deal with her misery. On the business side, Ronnie becomes more unstable, often behaving erratically and forcing Reggie to step in and stabilize their operations. Ronnie's instability worsens because he refuses to take his prescribed medication, which he avoids since he relishes the violent urges it triggers. Hostilities rise when a member of Richardson's group attempts to infringe upon the Kray's domain, leading Ronnie to carry out a brutal murder witnessed by many. Nipper Reid, now advanced to Scotland Yard, heads the inquiry, determined to dismantle the Kray's empire. However, early efforts falter as witnesses fear retribution and refuse to come forward. Reggie's illegal ventures increase the tension in his private life. Despite Francis' pleas for him to stop, he continues his unlawful endeavors, causing her to leave him. Shortly after, she tragically ends her own life. Driven by animosity, Ronnie instructs Jack to assassinate Leslie Payne. Jack's attempt fails, prompting Payne to collaborate with the police. Due to Payne's deep involvement with the Krays, his assistance propels the investigation forward. Authorities then secure numerous witnesses under protection, thereby bolstering their case immensely. Eventually, during a gathering at Ronnie's residence, Reggie confronts and fatally shoots Jack, witnessed by several onlookers. Thanks to Payne's cooperation and other testimonies, the police finally amass enough evidence to indict the Krays, bypassing previous political obstructions. A concluding graphic notes that Reggie was sentenced and remained imprisoned until shortly before dying of cancer in 2000, following a compassionate release 2 months prior. Ronnie, also found guilty and declared insane, was confined to a mental institution until his death in 1995. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you want to watch more videos like this. Thanks and see you again soon. Take care.